go.
I'll just kind of sit on this side, I guess.
Yeah.
That's all
Right
right.
ahead. We don't know where we're going to put her yet.
Are they from different marriages?
His 9 hours, so it's a combination between the two.
Wow.
A lot.
A lot.
I bet you guys are drinkers.
Yeah.
It's a natural color. I didn't recognize you. I wouldn't know you would walk in the street.
I'll sit here.
You're going to sit right here. Oh, sorry.
Side. We'll put it maybe way in the back, okay? And I can read
You
it.
made it, huh?
Yeah. Everything.
Is it close enough? You
Thank you.
Be sure.
You can share them.
Okay.
Perfect. How you doing? How's it going?
Perfect.
Good.
Perfect.
Joe's youngest son, Nathaniel. Nat.
And I'm carrying my.
This is
Yeah, but I won't get any of those.
This is our friend Tracy.
He's like, here's why.
I usually say I'm
They have a drip system, water drip system. That's why they,
I just, yeah, I think you're with myself.
and they're under the shading. I'm gonna go get my camera.
So,
Happy birthday. And that's my brother right there.
I'm gonna put, Joe has a daughter, Erin, who's coming, so we're gonna have Erin and Derek and Joey in this little area. So the grandchildren are
How you doing there? How you doing there, dear? I'm doing
So,
well.
let's see, wait, hold on.
So who else we expect?
okay. I see how it is.
I
I know. I see how it is.
appropriate time for her. She's not allowed to say.
Very good.
I had to go back and get my camera.
Where we're not focused in.
I told you she's one of those.
Good for you.
I told she's only a teenager.
She's 22, almost 23.
I can't believe, I couldn't believe.
We just found out 2 nights ago, so it's, I mean, this is pretty
Where's she
recent
going
news.
to school?
Well, she's out of school. She's working.
She's graduated from college?
Yes, she's,
Well, where did she go?
she went to Whitman College.
That's right, the boys
the one that you talked to.
Yeah, it's a really great liberal arts college.
My granddaughter's at the University of Oregon.
Great. And then she studied music theory composition, and she works now as in arts administration. She works for the Walla Walla Symphony.
I want that.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, I told her my daughter was going to borrow the bride.
Well, at least they'll fix it, right?
30 pounds, I didn't have nothing.
And so she goes to get her. Yeah.
He's about 4'2".
Now he's taller.
Give me a hug.
I see him too.
I want to take your picture.
Okay. I don't know if y'all know, but my mom's 101 tomorrow. So we thought we had this little celebration to sort of say, wow, you know. It's a wow moment. So we all have wow stories. Feel free to get up and tell a story about Grandma, you know, during the lunch. So everybody's probably got some kind of story, I'm sure. So they'll video it, and then we'll know what the story is, and we'll be able to save it to show people when I become 101 that I can show I was at my mom's 101st birthday. So, and when I'm at Carrie's 101, I'll be 126. So that'll really be special.
And if you're 101, your brother will be 102.
Exactly. So anyway, thank y'all for coming, and order what you want. We'll get going, and as you feel free to add stories, stand up and talk. Not expensive.
So this is everybody. That's 19 credits. Credits both semesters. Yeah, I was taking a full load. Plus soccer. So.
When you were about 6 years old, 5 years old,
I was happy I got a B.
he was supposed to take some pills for cold, and he refused to take it. So I put it in jelly and he took it, and he got so mad because I fooled him. He ran to the door and cried out loud, "You fooled me!"
And ran around the house.
Ran around the house.
Yeah, he ran, and he was in red overalls, and his face was red as a beet. Now, you're not Chris.
Alex.
I'm replacing him for today.
You're replacing him.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It's filling.
Fill in.
Don't tell him, but I am better. And this thing is still recording, so he'll probably hear it later.
Oh, you look too. I'm
Okay.
sorry. Where was my head? I'm sorry. Where was I?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
You guys survived the big tornado, didn't you?
Yes, sir. 2 miles from the house.
It was actually.
Did Sue do your makeup for you? Oh. Yeah.
Was it? What do you got here?
All the colors. That's the outfit you picked up with Judy. This is the outfit you got with Judy. Y'all went shopping.
Right? Better than
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jim's right there.
Hi, Jerry. Hi, Judy. Hi, baby. I'm great.
It's the same one from last time.
We'll have it on
From last year.
It's a new group. And we're older. I probably forgot it. I'm probably teasing.
I remember yours.
Wouldn't surprise me.
I remembered it. I was like,
Which one was it?
the one about the car. The car.
Hi, Judy. Judy, too. You're a good-looking buck.
Thank you.
Who's like,
He looks strong. Judy, he looks young.
She's like, she just knows because I haven't noticed this. I mean, the limited amount I know her. Like a big day. So she probably just knows what she wants. She's like, all right.
When it's right.
55 Dodge Coronet 500, and I decided I was going to be a race car driver. And I was still in and out of the house, so I souped this thing up with big slick tires on it, headers on it, and I would go race it at Green Valley Raceway in Dallas, okay? And so I would do this, and so one day I raced it, I still had the numbers on it, it was jacked up, high like this and deal. Well, on Fridays, she would get her hair done. So she would drive that car, and it would have the big headers, it'd be going boom, 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 boom. And it'd be going down the street like this, and she'd be driving like the little old lady from San Diego or San Francisco, the song that the Beach Boys did, and that's what they think, and she'd go get it, and guys would go, "Did I see your mom driving your car?" And I go, "Yep, she's driving the car," and she says, "Man, this car's fast," And it was real fast. It had a 400 cubic inch in it, and it was, and you know all this stuff because Eric likes cars. So if you can imagine her driving this 65 Dodge, jacked up, big slicks on it, Krager mags down the street to get her hair done. And she would do that every Friday, So, right?
With a mask.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no, because she could barely see her with the wheel, and this thing would just bounce down the road as she was driving. Do you remember that? When I do. Yeah. So.
See you.
Yeah.
So there's always weird. How much is the age difference? 20 years.
You're supposed to ask her to guess.
Sorry.
Thank you so much.
So we have 25.
chicken and avocado. Okay. Yep.
I'm gonna do the egg
Absolutely.
I didn't know that doing one of those, the class.
Well, it just happens, doesn't it?
Yeah. She says I had a long distance call.
So, just because she sits outside of the
He's still taping all.
It works out really good because
That was volatile.
I have it on the iPad.
so we've had
How old is she? And she's 23.
and I've had
give a chance to work on it.
Lincoln,
Yeah.
Good age.
they'll take it's like you can't judge a book by its cover. You look at there's so
There you are.
fat.
That's the picture I just took of you.
I mean, there
That's a
are
good
general
picture.
lines on
That's a
it,
nice
but
picture.
go on and be more specific.
Is it? You don't
Yeah.
pay too much to
I mean,
get
how
it.
many times?
That's very good.
That's very good.
Good shot.
Yeah.
And then I did steroid.
I don't know.
body guy, so that took a while to
Sure. Yeah, I had one of those. I got 18 tickets in one day. In front of the house, and my dad's coming home from work, and we got 3 squad cars surrounding us. Right out in front of the house.
It's 2 diamonds. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Isn't that gorgeous? Now they might do something different with it, but I think they don't know yet. I mean, she might just like it is.
That is just absolutely.
Yeah. It is. It's real.
I'd kind of like to redo a little vignette, how much different I am from her being 34 years younger, 33 years younger. Well, I decided to water my garden, and as I turn on the hose in the driveway, I look over at my car and decide it needs washing. As I started toward the garage, I noticed mail on the porch table that I brought up from the mailbox earlier. I decided to go through the mail before I washed the car. I lay my car keys on the table, put the junk mail in the garbage can under the table, and notice that the can is full. So I decided to put the bills back on the table and take out the garbage first. But then I think, since I'm going to be near the mailbox, when I take out the garbage anyway, I may as well pay the bills first. And so I take my checkbook off the table and see that there's only 1 check left. My extra checks are in the desk in the study. So I go inside the house where I find a can of root beer that I'd been drinking. Well, I'm going to look for my checks, but first I need to push the root beer aside so I don't accidentally knock it over. The root beer is getting warm, and I thought, well, you know, it might be a good idea to put it in the refrigerator to keep it cold. Well, as I head toward the kitchen with the root beer, a vase of flowers on the counter catches my eye. They need water. So I put the root beer on the counter and discover the reading glasses that I've been looking for all morning. I decide I better put them back on my desk, so I set the glasses back down on the counter, fill a container with water, and suddenly spot the TV remote someone left on the kitchen table. I realize that tonight, when we go to watch the Texas Rangers TV, I'll be looking for the remote, but won't remember that it's on the kitchen table, so I decide to put it back in the den where it belongs. But first I'll water the flowers. I pour some water in the flowers, but quite a bit of it spills on the floor, so I set the remote back on the table, get some towels, and wipe up the spill. Then I head down to the hall trying to remember what I was planning to do. At the end of the day, the car isn't washed, the bills aren't paid, there's a warm can of root beer sitting on the counter, the flowers don't have enough water, there is still only 1 check in my checkbook, I can't find the remote, I can't find my glasses, and I don't remember what I did with the car keys. Then, when I try to figure out why nothing got done today, I'm really baffled because I knew I was busy all day, and I'm really tired. But she's different.
Eats the sausage cut a little small.
There's your lake sausage.
And I didn't know what that was.
Thank you. That's great. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you very much. Huh? Well, you don't have to eat it all. We can all share it. It's pretty good.
Sure, take
That's
it
your
back
syrup.
home, you know?
Said we've got to get a navigation for this car because I told her about it, and so now my car is equipped with one already in it. But I had, you know, a certain amount I wanted to spend, and so we go to Best Buy, and the salesperson came over and she goes, "You young man, get me a manager right now." And they're like, "Okay," and he came over and she said, "I am very, very old, and you need to give me a discount." And they said, "Ma'am, we don't do that." She goes, "Well, then you get your boss because you need to." And about after the 3rd time, they said, "Okay, ma'am, you can have," and I think we got 20% off of it. But, so right after that, we had just bought a house, and we went to the furniture store, and there were these big lamps and tables that I had wanted for our den. And I said, "Well, that's just much too high." And Jim goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "I'm going to try to get it like your mom." And so he was, you know, and I said, "You know, there's a little scratch right there if you look closely. I don't think it's acceptable for me to pay full price for that." And he goes, we don't do that. And I go, get a manager. Jim was looking down. He said, what are you doing? I said, I'm pulling a Lucille. At the end of the third person, I got half off.
Some things thrown in too, remember?
Oh yeah, and more things thrown in. I'm sure they if I walked in now, they all run, but it really works. And she just said, you know, you don't know until you ask, and you keep asking and asking, they might give in. So,
That's a good lesson.
it works, you know. It's a good lesson.
Okay, there's one too. I don't know if y'all have not heard this, but when her car got stolen out of her apartment, we went over there and she goes, somebody stole my car. I said, well, don't worry, you have insurance. She goes, this really hacks me up. I just filled it up. And I had a full tank of gas. They got a full tank of gas in my car. And I go, Mom, come on. So she says, we need a new car. So we go to the Honda dealership. And we're in there. And she says, what kind of car is it? Get this Honda.
She's still complaining about
Now
the gas tank.
yeah, and she's 94 when we do this, okay? So we go to Honda. They said, okay, how do you want to do this? And I said, she wants to lease it. You go, okay. How many years? I said, 4 years. And they go, okay. So they said, let me have your driver's license. So that she gives a driver's license. The guy looked at it and goes, you'll be 98? She goes, is that a problem? He goes, no, it's not a problem. So we get the car. You know, they always hush you back to the back room. So we go back to the room. And I said, we don't want any of this extra stuff on. She goes, let him talk. So the guy's talking. We'll throw a load check. You know, we can sell you this, tires, all this extra stuff. Did about 20 different things. And she goes, I want all that for free. He goes, yeah, no, we don't do that. She goes, no, I want to get it for free. I'm 94 years old, and I want it for free. We got all that thrown in for free on that car. Remember that? And then to fill the car up with gas because she wanted a full tank of gas.
Oh, yeah.
But she can deal. So if you ever want something, take her.
Take Lucille.
Take Lucille with you because she'll get it.
Oh, God. Good deal.
It works.
You almost ready?
Did Joe B know about that kind of dealing?
I don't think so.
Oh,
You kept that from him, huh?
which was ready.
Lots of
Pressure.
things.
This is just a shit fight. I'm doing it all by ear. This is a shit fight.
It's a good lesson.
Yeah.
I do it all the time now.
I'll start doing that.
Clothes. If there's like a button loose, you know, sometimes you can get 20 to 30% off.
Do you want dessert?
The first big birthday I remember for Mom was when she turned 80. And we'd been married about four or 5 years, maybe 4 years by that time. 5 years, perhaps. And not only was she turning 80, and I thought that was, you know, fairly monumental at that time. Now we look at her and she's 101, but we were able to pull off a surprise. And some of that surprise is also due to her husband, Joe B., who worked with Joe and Jim to pull this major surprise party off for her. And that was the last time we surprised you. We decided any more surprise parties after that might be a little bit too much on the system. And besides, you like to look forward to birthdays, but it was a wonderful, wonderful surprise. And I still remember you walking in, having no idea what you were walking into.
No.
And everybody...
Joe said, come on in, the family is in. I walked in, the place was crowded. 35.
And it was just a wonderful, wonderful way to celebrate your 80th birthday.
Joe had made a video of my life before I was born. And I was going to show it today, but couldn't get the equipment. But
We're going to try to get that video put onto a DVD, have them transfer a VCR to a DVD, VHS to a DVD, and then
now she'll have
some of that.
Judy can get miracles in that. So I'll know I'll be able to get it.
I'll help you guys get it done.
Anyways, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Again.
Thank you.
Can you tell that story
21
about
years
Aaron
later.
when Aaron was in the hospital?
I don't know it completely.
Okay.
Yeah. But she was in the hospital.
Because she just stayed by the way.
I think Joe Fleming has one.
Yeah, just another quick story. Obviously, Mom has been a nurse. That was her profession, and she was an incredible diagnostician. Walter, you'll really appreciate this as a doctor. I was
Yes, sir. Thank you.
a freshman in high school and playing basketball, and I skinned my knee. And typical of a freshman in high school, I didn't take care of it. And so all of a sudden, got the red streaks, swollen lymph glands, and it was getting pretty serious. In fact, it was so serious, we went to the doctor. I told my mom, I said, you know, I'm really hurting in my groin. She says, oh my gosh, look at this red streaks going up down. Oh my gosh, she's like, we gotta go to the doctor right now. So we go to the doctor, and the doctor says, we're gonna have to amputate. And my mother said, let me have him for 24 hours. She says, I'll soak it in hot Epsom salts, but I'll change this. He said, she says, I'm a nurse. He says, I'll tell you what, I'll give you 24 hours, but I need to see him tomorrow. Okay, took me home, hot Epsom salts, you probably remember this, Jim. Came back, he said, well, you know what? It's stable. He says, I'll give you another 24 hours. She said, okay. We go back to the house. Hot Epsom salts, hot Epsom salts. Well, I was older than Joey, obviously, a freshman in high school. By golly, here I am on both legs today. So it's a testimony, and it's not trying to, in any way, shape, or form, put down the doctor, but she was the mother, and sometimes I think we're more cognizant of our children than the doctors because they don't know the history, but her willpower and medical knowledge brought it about, and it was quite a testimony. But she's also a prankster. And so let's go back to nursing school at Cambridge, Mount Auburn. She was a floor nurse there. This is back in about 1929, 1930. And these are the days when they were still using what was it? Yeah, sulfa, but a little, help me, Walter, on the blood, used a little leeches. Leeches. Okay. That's the period we're talking about. Well, this isn't about leeches, but I just kind of wanted to bring you into context. So here she is, bit of a prankster. When a person demised, they put them on a gurney, put the towel or put the sheet on them, took them down to the morgue, placed them in the appropriate facility there. Well, there was a new guy on the floor. Hadn't done that yet. So one of the nurses, I guess it was a male nurse, whatever it was, gets on the gurney and they put the sheet over him, start taking him down the hall. Now down in the morgue. You know, if you're not comfortable with that, it'll put the hair up on the back of your neck a little bit. So here's this guy, first time going in the morgue, deadly quiet, bit dark, cool, and all of a sudden, the guy sits up and says, "Hey!" Well, they were all around. They knew it was happening, and this guy just went running down the hall. And I guess they saw him later, but she's a bit of a prankster.
I'll watch them bloom for me and for you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. And I see skies of blue, and I see clouds of white, and the brightness of the day. Well, I like the dark, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow are so pretty in the sky, and are also on the faces of all the people passing by. When I see friends shaking hands saying, how do you do? Oh, they really say I love you. When I hear babies cry as I watch them grow, they learn much more than we'll ever know. When I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Someday I wish upon a star to wake up where the clouds are far behind. Oh, me, where troubles melt like lemon drops so high above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. Oh, and the dreams that you dare to, oh, why can't I?
Little favorite song, and that's why it's hard for us. But I think it says a lot for Brody that he worked really, really hard, and when he got his very, very first paycheck, he took that, and the first thing he did was take his grandma out to eat. And that's, you know, was so special. He loved you so much, and he was so excited to be able to make money and to pay and to do that. And I was hoping I would be the first one, but it wasn't me.
Spring Creek Barbecue.
They went to Spring Creek Barbecue. And he brought her in and he served her, and it was just a very special thing. I know he's here with you and he loves you so much.
And we brought a little bit of him today with that song.
Absolutely.
Thanks for sharing this, Karen.
Got Judy going.
There's the cake, Mom. Isn't that pretty? Isn't that pretty? I never heard that story.
It's a beautiful story.
I have a funny story about your son.
Mom, he's got a story.
The first time we met Jim, they took us out to a restaurant, and I was so upset about the age difference. I told Jim, I said, man, you look good. I said, I hope I look as good as you when I get to be your age.
And I have to say, I couldn't ask for a better son-in-law. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mom. Happy birthday to you. And many more. Although we're pressing it, folks, we're pressing it.
112. You gotta make the wish, but this one says
Judy made this cake.
Oh, wow, that's beautiful.
Jim helped her.
I just stuck some stuff on it.
But it says so many candles, so little cake.
Now, it is a little bitty
Where
cake.
are the other 100 candles?
I put them in the car and they melted.
That's what these are. That's what these are. The pink and the
Okay,
green.
make a wish and blow your candle.
This is serious.
That
Smells a lot of breath here.
That's a good sign.
Easy. Easy does it.
One other thing I just wanted to share about Mom is I've told her for a while now that I think she's like a cat with 9 lives. And she's not on the 9th yet.
No.
That's right.
So here's to cats with 9 lives. I don't even think she likes cats, but you know.
It was a couple months ago when she was in the hospital, and she was a little depressed, I guess, about what had happened and everything, and I was talking to her, and she looks at me and she goes, because I told her, I said, you know, you're going to get through this, and she looks at me, she goes, do you think I can really get through this? And I said, Grandma, I'm expecting at least 120 out of it. And we went home and everything started getting better.
I think your words were really important. 120.
Wow.
19 more years. That might be enough time to see all her grandchildren get married.
Yeah.
Maybe her great-grandson. Maybe. You never know. Oh.
And your golden anniversary.
And our golden anniversary.
Mom's been on her knees a lot, praying actually all of her life for both Jim and myself and grandchildren and everybody else. But one story in particular was pretty gut-wrenching. When Erin was born, she was born with a very rare disorder. Her pituitary gland didn't send the signal to her adrenal gland to manufacture adrenocorticotropic hormone, ACTH. And anyway, she would get in these fluctuations in her system that were life-threatening. And when I was in the Navy, one of those situations occurred. She became catatonic, she became blue, couldn't catch her breath. One of my friends, a helicopter pilot, took off at Beeville, the base I was associated with, flew her up to San Antonio, made an emergency landing because the weather was below minimums to land, had a priest on board. Erin was in the hospital, tubes going, she had tubes everywhere, in her arms going to her heart, arteries in her legs going in, just everywhere. I mean, she was only about 18 months of age. And the doctor came in and said, Ensign, he says, I'm afraid your daughter's going to be probably in a coma the rest of her life. We're not sure how long she's going to live. And so, Mom and Dad came down, and Mom says, I'm going to pray for her. And so they gave her a, Walter would know more about this than me, but they gave her curare to mitigate any type of muscle movement. So there she was on this gurney, still, and Mom and Dad had gone home, but she says, I'm going to pray, and I talked to Mom. She says, yeah, I'm still praying, I'm still praying, I'm still praying. So I was in there, and I had my hand on Erin's chest, and I tickled her chin, and she moved her mouth like this, and I told the doctor, I said, wow, she moved. You told me that she was supposed to be still because of this curare. He says, that's a good sign. He said, I need to see this. And so he went in there, replicated the movement, and sure enough, she responded in the same way. So he saw a response that he didn't think should have happened. And anyway, the tables have turned, and here she is today. Here they are with the foster child they adopted, and she and Derek have been married 13 years. But yeah, Mom's been a prayer all her life, so it's another facet. Another facet.
And I ask her to pray often. Lucille, pray for me.
Judy, this cake looks incredible.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank
There's
you.
your card and there's your gift.
Don't you like pretty colors?
It's gorgeous.
All right.
And Jeanette helped you?
No.
She said
He told me the chocolate one wasn't pretty.
that was his help.
That's us. Except they got our hair color wrong. But the rest of it looks just like us, don't you think?
Can you read it out loud for me?
It might make me cry.
Join the group.
Right.
It says, Lucille, you're an amazing woman.
completely unforgettable. For as long as I live, I'll share the tales you tell me so others can know what a precious gift from God you are. I look forward to our upcoming lunch with Lucille sessions. And I'm so blessed to have you as my friend. Love, Judy. P.S. Well, I picked this gift out just for you.
This is my dear friend.
Yes. Open your gift, Mom.
Open your gift.
Open your gift. It's got to be a crown for a head.
I brought her one of those.
There's already one on the cake.
No, I brought her one to put in her hair.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, the Judies.
The Judies.
The Judies, they know. No.
Can you pull it out? Here. Now you have to wind the bottom of
Oh,
it.
that's pretty. Oh, isn't that pretty? Wow. Bird's eye
Right,
maple.
you can open it.
Oh.
It plays unforgettable.
Oh, wow. That's so cool. Lovely. That's really pretty.
Absolutely gorgeous. I'm so glad you like it.